X's and O's indeed is underway. The Minnesota Vikings take on the Motor City Kitties, the Detroit Lions, a Northern Division collision. Sunday at noon, the pregame, 10 o'clock on KFAN and 11 a.m. on the Vikings Radio Network. And joining us now, indeed, is Minnesota Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer. These Lions coach had a couple extra days off up to this Sunday game from Thanksgiving. Is it, from what you've seen since you beat them at the wire, same team fighting tooth and nail every step of the way? And I ain't trying to take a shot at a team or anything, but they've had injuries, they lack depth, but they fight. Is it the same team?
Yeah, they fight a lot. The Bears game was close. They were close against the Rams. I thought Goff played really well against them. They play stout on defense. They play real hard, and they give you a lot of different looks.
Running back DeAndre Swift, he might not play because of an injury, but overall, what do you think of DeAndre Swift coming out of Georgia?
A very good back. Excellent catching the ball out of the backfield. Very shifty. Runs with power. Very good back.
Now, with DeAndre, again, shoulder injury, and this is airing on Wednesday, so we'll see what practice looks like. I'd be surprised if he played, but who knows? They no longer have Darren Fells, that tight end Darren Fells, and Coach smiles, and I kind of smile too. Now, Fells asked out of his contract. He's not the first player in the history of the NFL to just want to leave, and shockingly, he showed up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Funny how that works. But 6'8" guy, I'm just fascinated by him, man, because do you know his story at all?
No, I know he's been in the league for a while, but I don't know that much about him.
Well, he didn't play college football, and he went to UC Irvine as a stud college basketball player, and then he played 5 years overseas, professional basketball, and then did the Cheryl's Thielen route, had to try out to get into rookie camp, and build himself a nice career. He's like 32 years of age. Mm-hmm. And stories like that. I mean, have you come across many stories like that? Just out of nowhere, somebody makes it and lasts.
Yeah, probably not last that long, but we've had a lot of guys in the past that have come through. When I was in Dallas, we had a lot of guys. Cincinnati guys come off the street, even here with Adam Thielen and some of those guys. But they're all good success stories.
Yeah, for Fells, I mean.
How about DePaola?
Andrew DePaola.
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, he was
He tore his ACL.
He was a bartender.
What?
Yeah.
I'll take about 5 right now off that Niners game. What about you?
Me too. I read it in the press guide the other day.
Yeah. Well, and when things didn't work out with Cutting, and DePaola comes in, he hadn't snapped in a year and change, and I think he tore his ACL. So it's like his first action, and he goes lights out. And then I'm thinking I'm not disrespecting the long snapper spot, but that's amazing that you cannot do something like that for a year and change and jump right in and be good.
Yeah. Well, he worked for that year. He worked out a lot.
Yep, no doubt. Andrew DePaola, don't leave home without him. You mentioned Adam Thielen. Seriously speaking, is Adam Thielen the greatest out-of-nowhere story you've known in your nearly 3 decades coaching in the NFL? And when I say out of nowhere, you got Mankato, Detroit Lakes, but then Mankato, the tryout just to get to rookie camp, but he's a stud. He's not just a ham and egger,
Yeah, I was laughing at the 3 decades.
Almost.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, he's a terrific success story. Adam is a great competitor. I think his competitiveness is the most important asset that he has.
In what way? That he just never stops?
He always thinks he's open. He doesn't care who's guarding him. He's going to go up and make the catch regardless of what the situation is. The one that I challenged last week, the ball's flopping around down there, and he dives up backwards and catches it, or maybe not catch it. I don't know. They couldn't tell. But there's things like that. He just makes plays.
10 touchdowns, 14 last season. He plays hurt. 2,600 yards in 2017 and 18. Is he going to be the kind of guy that, when you think back, okay, you're at the ranch, got the grandkids, let's say they're 9, 10, 11, 12. Running around, you're looking at the beautiful pond. You think back about players like that, who just came from nowhere and scratched and clawed. I mean, you had Dion, you had Darren Woodson, you have Harrison Smith. You've had great players, but players like Adam and maybe Vontaze Burfict to a certain extent, it just takes a lot to get them to where they are. Those generally should make the best memories. You agree?
I do. But all my players, I really appreciate the work that they do. And these guys, they go out there and they work hard every day. The great players, the good players, the players that actually at the game the other day, there was a player I was walking out to the bus and somebody's yelling my name. I look up in one of the rafters up there, and it's a guy that I recruited at Washington State.
Wow.
So, yeah, and he introduced me to his son. He's yelling down. I'm trying to figure out who the heck is yelling at me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is terrific. And, with the game coming up against the Lions off the 49ers game, and you said Adam maybe caught it, maybe didn't catch it. You had the Josh Norman situation with Adam. One of the officials looking right at it. Norman should have been tossed. He wasn't. Heard today that he apologized to Adam right after the game. So for better or for worse, at least he did that. But how often have you come out with the Surface Pro, like 5 yards out on the field, and held it in front of an official and like broken down all 22 of something? I can't say I've ever seen you do that.
Well, I have. This last week, I went out there with him a couple times, and I said, I know you can't look at this, but just take a peek at this. I said, this guy is grabbing this guy's holding here, whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they kept asking what the number was, and
Yeah. So wait, I mean, if coaches get to call in missed plays to the league, do officials get to call in like, hey, they put this TV thing in front of me, wanted me to watch Ren and Stimpy or something and throw my mind off the game? It doesn't work like that?
I don't know. I don't know what goes on in that officiating department.
Yeah, but at least it wasn't as violent or egregious as Bill Cowher when he ran up to whatever rep.
Stuck the picture in the guy's pocket.
Yeah, and it's an old school ref. I mean, like right at the end of his career, he's just thinking about his pension and the ranch and the grandkids and Adam Thielen, and here he goes shoving a picture in his pocket. So this game can be quite emotional, can it?
Yeah, very emotional. It's a lot of heated things going on the sideline. A lot of players go out there and compete and give it their all, and coaches as well.
When Niners corner Josh Norman went to cheap shotting Adam Thielen, did you know that it happened when it happened?
I did not know until after the game, and somebody showed it to me on Twitter. I think it was the next day.
Yeah.
So I did not see it.
If you had seen it like during the situation, what I'm referencing is College Stadium, LaMarcus Joyner, Teddy. Now they got Greg Williams as their defensive coordinator. It's a little different because of his negative history, but you run the balance of dad and boss about as well as I've ever seen anybody in 20 years. So if you see somebody punching one of your surrogate kids, I mean, you might have lost your mind.
I probably would have said a few things, and I would have stood up for him for sure.
Either that or you were too busy having the Surface Pro in front of Brad Rogers showing him what a George Kittle hold looks like, right?
Yeah, not so much George Kittle, but George Kittle's I know he said some things after the game. He's a good player, very good player, tough, competitive guy. I was referencing some other of their players more so than him, but he did have his hands out. But he did say, we should play better, and he's right.
For you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear what he said after the game.
Well, he just said, tell his guys to play better.
Really?
Which is true, and we don't complain to officials very often. I knew going into the game that those guys did that a lot, especially some of their linemen, and so I alerted the officials before the game that was going to happen. So I just want to play fair, but he's right. We got to compete. If we get held, and he probably got held a few times on pass routes. So, that's just part of the game. You got to fight through it and go through it. And we're not going to complain about it anymore. We're just going to go fight.
So do you think? Right, I agree, and that's 9.5 out of 10 times that's who you are. But again, the emotions of the game. We're now in the second half of the season. So do you think Kittle held Eric Kendricks on what I think it was a Deebo Samuel touchdown?
Well, I think he got grabbed a little bit from behind, yeah.
Okay, right. And why I reference it is in watching the Jacksonville game, they ran the same play, but when they scored on you, it was the other side of the field. Miles Jack 44 was Kendricks, and it looked the exact same with Kittle, where he just enough and then hands up like that.
Yeah.
That makes it tough on the refs.
That's okay if they do it in front, but if they're catching them from behind or wrapping their arms around defenders, that's when I get upset. And they do a great job of their combination block off the defensive end up to the linebacker, which Kittle does an outstanding job with. And I just don't see it when a guy gets grabbed in the back.
Yeah. Mike Zimmer X's the nose, deep stretch here. Is you getting any guys back for the Lions game?
I hope so. I think there's a chance we'll get Dalvin Tomlinson. I think there's a chance that we might get Pierce back. We obviously lost Peterson for the week.
Yeah.
But I think we'll get a few guys back.
How about Deshaun Bauer? I mean, I know he only played 7 or 8 plays. I mean, we're calling the game, and I'm like 73 on the first series. I mean, he had been there like 5 minutes. You threw him right out there.
Yeah, he was in a nickel package, and we were extremely thin. We had to get some guys out there that could do some things, and he had some pretty good recall of what we were doing.
You think they'll eventually stop kicking Nwangwu?
I don't know. They keep trying him. So hey, I think Ryan Ficken's done a nice job, and I think our other players have done a nice job as well blocking. We had some really good blocks there.
Madison.
Madison. We had a good double team. I think it was Troy Dye with one of them. Connolly was in there. So we had a lot of guys that really helped and are playing good on special teams.
You think Wishnowsky mishit it? Like in the Ravens game, Justin Tucker's the greatest kicker in the history of the game, in my opinion. He mishit it, I think, and then Nwangwu got a crack. But I mean, are you kidding me? They're really going to kick to this kid?
I think a lot of people, they feel good about their coverage unit. They had one really good player that we had to double team. We got him double teamed, and but I think the first kick we got out to the 22 or something. I think it was.
And he missed it by an inch.
Yeah.
Is that the one that he missed by the boundary going?
Yeah, we didn't get the one guy blocked.
Yes.
And then they kept doing it. So I don't know that they mishit it. I think they're just challenging us.
Ryan Ficken, the special teams coordinator, is our guest coming up here shortly. I'm going to ask him the same thing. There are 0 punt return touchdowns in the NFL this year. Now I went back through the last 20 years. Like it was a bordello in 2012. They had 18, 8 last year, 7 the year. But why are there 0 this year?
Good question. I think with the offenses now, there might be less punts.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. But the punters are pretty good at directionally punting. We don't get too many either miss hits where it's just in the middle of the field with a poor hang time. I guess that would be it.
Lastly, last Sunday against the Niners, I mean, it became a little bit like a video game there for a minute in the alumni zone with these wide receivers throwing across the field left and right. JJ has a nice arm.
Yeah, he does. He throws
a really good arm.
He throws a good ball.
Yeah.
He talks to me about it every week.
So he wants to now he's bit, so now he wants to do it as much as possible, right?
Oh, yeah. He's always throwing the ball and showing me in practice what he can do.
I appreciate you, Mike. Good luck.
All right, thanks.